Greetings and salutations on my Assata journey. And it's just a part in the book that I wanted to share. So there's this part where she says that they brought her some, what was it? Okay. They brought her a bushel of string beans and wanted her to snap them. And she, was like, I'm not a slave unless you're going to pay me. This is while she's in prison. And, she said to the prison guard, and she's like, didn't you know that slavery is illegal? It was outlawed. And the guard informed her, actually, no, slavery is legal in prison. So, she looked it up and she found that it was, accurate, and just wanted to share, this part. So this was the exchange. She says, I don't work for nothing. I ain't gonna be no slave for nobody. Don't you know that slavery was outlawed? No, the guard said, you're wrong. Slavery was outlawed, but with the exception of prisons. Slavery is legal in prisons. I looked it up, and sure enough, she was right. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Well, that explained a lot of things. That explained why jails and prisons all over the country are filled to the brim with Black and third world people. Why so many Black people can't find a job on the streets and are forced to survive the best way they know how. Once you're in prison, there are plenty of jobs, and if you don't want to work, they beat you up and throw you in the hole. If every state had to pay workers to do the jobs prisoners are forced to do, the salaries would amount to billions. License plates alone would amount to millions. When Jimmy Carter was governor of Georgia, he brought a Black woman from prison to clean the state house and babysit for Amy. Prisons are a profitable business. They're a way of legally perpetuating slavery. In every state, more and more prisons are being built, and even more are on the drawing board. Who are they for? Prisons are parts of this government's genocidal war against Black and third world people. And when did she write this book? I'm not sure, but considering, at that point in time, I mean, this is a while ago that she wrote this book, right? And those were thoughts based on her experience in the 70s, right? And we are currently in 2023. I mean, 2025, sorry. Ooh, back in time for a bit. But yeah, we're currently in 2025, and the prison industrial complex continues to grow. It continues to expand. It continues to be a profitable business, right? And, at the time that she was there and at the time that she wrote this, yes, 100%. And still, there is, what is it? I can't remember the phrasing, the academic phrasing. But still to this day, the Black people make up too high of a percentage of people, Black and brown people, too high of a percentage of people within the prison system, and poor people, I'm sure, I don't know what the statistic is, but I can guarantee you that poor people make up the majority, right? And that's beyond race, regardless of what race you are. I think, slowly but surely that's what it's moved towards. I think it was more evidently race-based initially, and slowly but surely it's becoming more and more class-based, And the idea that, you know, they continue to build prisons, and look at what's happening with ICE and with the different laws being changed and shifted, making it, you know, easier for people to be taken away, you know? And just thinking of the idea of criminality and what that means. What does it mean to be a criminal, right? And who is making the decisions to define that? You know, who defines what it means to be a criminal? Is it the people? Are we making those decisions? Are we determining, you know, the these legal frameworks that we're held to, you know, that we have to abide by? We're not the ones making those decisions, you know. And I think slowly but surely what we're gonna find is that we are the ones, you know. Right now our prisons might be a bit comfortable, you know, and the space that we are afforded, the privilege that we have. But when you look at the legal steps that are being taken, you know, when you look at the direction that our government is moving in, you know, slowly but surely, yeah, our comforts are going to be heavily, I don't know what it is I'm trying to say, but yeah, just something to pay attention to think about, you know. I think a lot of these new prisons that have come up were created under the guise of being a response to illegal immigration, but you know, there are different speech laws that we're seeing shift globally, you know, where saying words is more and more a criminal offense, right? For the expressions that we share, you know. And I kind of like the idea of cancel culture, you know, and cutting people off simply because of something that they've said, you know, a viewpoint that they hold, the different beliefs that they have. We as people should not be advocating for anyone's speech to be taken away because we don't like it, because we find it offensive, right? Because right now we have an idea of what we think is offensive, right? But that's going to continue to change, right? And we're not going to be the ones to determine that, you know. People in power who, you know, maybe might need to control certain narratives and need to make sure that certain expressions are dissuaded, they're going to be the ones determining what is harmful speech, you know. So, you know, we need to develop some thicker skins. I think we're just a tad too sensitive sometimes when it comes to people's expressions. And then we play into these divisive tactics, you know, giving them exactly what they want. But yes, I digress. I think I'm going to go back to my Assata. I went a bit off topic there, but yeah, definitely get the book, read the book, open your eyes. It is time. But yeah, it's crazy out here on this planet at this point in time. But yeah, all right. With that, I am complete. Sending so much love. Peace.